Remember when you got that one substitute teacher? You know, the one that nobody liked and they really didn't teach you anything? And you, collectively, as a third grade class, learned an important lesson. That teacher might be able to stop you, at least one of you, from disrupting class. But when you worked together, when you took your collective power, you could truly derail everything. Well, God, this is the funniest thing, because this is what's happening at CBS right now. And what I wouldn't give to be a fly on the wall in the CBS 60 Minutes offices right now. Because the executive editor of 60 Minutes sent his staff a memo demanding that they stop leaking things to the press. And within a couple of days, that memo leaked to the press. And yet Nick Bilton, who's the current executive producer of 60 Minutes, came on back in late May, welcomed everyone in the office back from their July vacation with, quote, "Since I started here, there has been roughly a rumor a day. I no longer have the time or the patience for them." And he was practically begging them to come ask him directly instead of talking to reporters. Now, that memo was included in a media newsletter before some of those staffers had even unpacked their bags from their vacation. And a guy who studies this stuff for a living, Oliver Darcy, made an obvious point here. The leaks aren't the disease. They're the symptom. Because a healthy newsroom doesn't leak. They don't leak constantly like this. People go to reporters when they don't trust their leadership, when they don't trust their leadership to listen to them. This is not a mystery. It happens in every industry, but especially in a newsroom. And this is what a broken newsroom sounds like from the outside. But there are things that should have been leaked or should have put out publicly. Okay? Senator Ron Wyden, his new report says that Deutsche Bank, JPMorgan Chase, and Bank of America enabled Jeffrey Epstein for years. Deutsche Bank sat on more than $250 million in flag transfers, some of it cash payments to women in Russia and Eastern Europe, and only told the government after Epstein was already arrested. Bank of America flagged $170 million in transactions tied to Leon Black that had, in the bank's own words, no apparent economic business or lawful purpose. JPMorgan moved over $1 billion for the guy despite its own internal red flags. $1 billion. Through a man who trafficked children. Meanwhile, your bank will freeze your debit card because you bought gas twice in one afternoon in a town you don't usually buy gas in. They'll call your cell phone, 3 texts. Nobody called about Jeffrey Epstein. And what would it take? What would it take for a bank that size to lose its ability to operate after seeing something like this? I mean, we all remember too big to fail, but is there anything we can do here? Let me know in the comments what you think. But this whole story gets personal for 60 Minutes specifically because correspondent Sharyn Alfonsi had this story. She sat down with Wyden back in March, finished the interview, it was ready to air. But it never aired. Alfonsi got fired 2 months later after she publicly pushed back on Barry Weiss editing a different piece of hers, you know, the one that Trump's deportation program and the prison in El Salvador that people don't come home from, that got put out, I guess, by Canada. And CBS's official comment in all of this was that Epstein banking story had not been finished. Sure, right after they fired the person finishing it. So you have the guy running 60 Minutes who can't keep his own memo private about leaks for 48 hours. But he somehow managed to keep a story about Wall Street laundering money for a child trafficker off the air for 5 months. You know what? I guess some leaks apparently make it out faster than others. And that's why I'm going to ask you to hit that notification bell, especially if this is the first time you're hearing about the $1 billion moving through JPMorgan for Jeffrey Epstein. Because this story didn't get a fraction of the coverage it deserves. And that was a choice to continue to support your advertisers. And if you really want to choose to support us and our effort to keep the truth flowing when the biggest newsrooms in the country won't do it, consider becoming a member. Or heck, a like, a comment, anything helps keep us on top of stories like this.